Good morning, everyone. I am Saju Thomas. I will be teaching your computer applications with the Java for the class 10th. First of all, I would like to introduce you all with the syllabus of ICC examinations. The same one you can download from the ICC website. First of all, you look onto the screen. Class 9, the syllabus is given in front of you, which you have already studied. Theory examinations are of 100 marks. Internal assessment also will be of 100 marks. And the average will be recorded. Next, in the theory examinations, first of all, we had an introduction to the object-oriented programming, or the OOPS concepts we say. In those OOPS concepts, you have studied what is an object, what is class, the principles of the OOPS, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, etc. Then later on you came to the introduction of Java, then history of Java, then data items, how to input the values, the different operators of Java, the conditional statements of Java, such as if statement and the switch statement. Later on you had the looping statements, for loop, while loop, as well as the do while loop. Now we shall continue with the syllabus of class 10th. Here also we have theory paper with 100 marks and internal assessment also with the 100 marks. In the theory, the first part is revision of class 9th syllabus. Here we will revise the entire portion whatever we have studied in class 9th, because it was a totally new concept for you all. Then after completing the revision, we will study about class as the basis of computation. We have the third function, user-defined functions. Once the user-defined methods are over, we will proceed to the constructors. These two chapters are interrelated. Then library classes, a list of functions are given there. Its usage we have to study. Then arrays, single dimensional array as well as the double dimensional arrays. Then string handling. After that we can see the internal assessment is given, which is of 100 marks. You can download the same thing from the ICSE website, www.cisce.org. We will begin our portions with the revision of the class 9th syllabus. The paper's name is Computer Applications. The textbook which is preferred for you is Computer Applications, written by Sumita Arora. Try to get this book. Let's proceed to the chapter number 1. Concept of OOPS. You have studied concepts of OOPS last year. Few you may be remembering also. First of all, let's see what is an object. An object in the real world can be anything, as it is given here. It is visible or tangible. Visible means what we can see, tangible means what we can feel, what we can touch. Second point says that which may be apprehended intellectually. We believe that something is existing. We can think about intellectually. That is considered as an object. And then something towards which one can direct action or thought. For example, we can say we have a life. Has anyone seen this life? No. We say a living thing has got his own signs of life. So we are just directing our thought towards that particular concept. We proceed to the definitions. See, when we are looking around, we can see a lot of objects around us. The laptop which is kept in front of me is an object because it has got its own screen. its own camera there, web camera there, and it has got its own keypad. And then the behavior is that when the operating system is loaded, we can do certain operations. If we are considering about this fan, AC, TV, these are all objects because these are all having their own characteristics as well as the behavior. If we consider about the characteristics of this fan, we can say it has got its own motor, it has got 3 leaves, or it has got its own bearing inside, its color is brown, etc. What is the behavior when we say about the fan? The behavior related to the fan, we can say that when the light is given, the fan will work, and when there is no light, it will stop working. Okay, when we are considering anything, what we see around, they all will have certain characteristics and behavior. Okay, now we say that objects are uniquely identifiable one. What is uniquely identifiable? See, we are all students. Those who are listening me right now, you are also an object and myself. You are all identified uniquely. Even though twins are there, they may be looking like totally the same. But there is some uniqueness in between them. They have got their thumb impression. So those objects are uniquely identified. Again, we have chairs, tables, pens. These are all objects what we are seeing around. Now let's proceed to the definition. The one which is written in red color here is the definition. An object can be thought of an entity having a specific identity, specific characteristics, and specific behavior. Okay, an object can be thought of an entity having certain identity, specific characteristics, as well as behavior. Again, we are proceeding with this. The state of an object. What is meant by state of an object? See, I am myself is an object. Right now the state is I am awake, and after a few hours I will be sleeping. So we say that sleeping. The two states. And then if a switch is there, the switch is in on mode as well as the off mode. That is the two states of that object. Okay, so every object will have its own state. The state is the characteristics. In the software term, we will say the state as well as the characteristics as the same thing. Okay, again, now we will proceed. We saw so many objects. When we come to a group of objects, what do we call that group of objects? The class is the name of that. A class is a group of objects which are having certain characteristics and behavior. See, you are class 10th student. When we are in the school, that may be 55 or 60. When those 60 students are sitting together in a group, we say it is a class. And now, what does the definition say? It's a group of objects which are having certain characteristics as well as the behavior. When they are combined together, we will say that item as an object. Okay, so these all definitions you have studied last year. Again, we are proceeding to the concepts of the OOPS. When we say a particular programming language as the object-oriented programming, it should follow certain concepts. One of the concepts among them is data abstraction. One more name is there for the same data abstraction, that we will write as data abstraction or data hiding. Abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details or explanations. It is referring to the essential features without going into the background details. Let us take the example of a car as well as the driver. A car has got its characteristics such as its brake, steering, clutch, accelerator, and etc. The driver is sitting and starting or turning the key and starting it. He is putting the gear, using the clutch, brake, accelerator, and going. On the way, the car is stopping due to breakdown. All of the drivers will get down. As usual, he will go and lift the bonnet. What is happening inside? He may not be knowing. And he need not worry about it. The best thing is that he should give a call to the mechanic and the mechanic should come and see. See, here the thing what I want to say is, a driver should know what we have to do with the essential things, such as using the gear, using the brake, using the clutch, as well as the accelerator, and only the necessary things. He need not go to open the bonnet or need not worry about what happened inside. He has to only call the serviceman. So that is what is we say. Essential features are only considered without going into the background details. Next one we can say we have a fully automatic washing machines. See, we are all opening the tap, putting the soap powder and then giving water and putting the clothes, keeping certain time. Then you are going and being busy with any kind of work. After 1 hour or 45 minutes, whatever timing you has kept, we will get the dried clothes. What happened, how the water has applied there, when the soap was mixed, when the water has drained and etc. We need not bother. We have to just know how to set the timing without going into the background details. Only the essential features, how to operate it, that should we know. Okay. Then the next concept in the object-oriented programming is encapsulation. The definition: wrapping up of the characteristics of the data and functions, that is the behavior, into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Bundling, both of them are tied together in a single unit, that is what is called encapsulation. Encapsulation is a way to implement data abstraction. So data abstraction is also known as data hiding. So how we implement this? We have certain keywords in Java which will provide protection to the variables of the data members to hide the data. We can say the private keyword. We will study about the private keyword in the later session. One example I will tell you about the encapsulation. Wix Action 500, that was a tablet used for getting relief from the nasal flow, throat infection, headache, for the mild fever, etc. What are the characteristics? Characteristics are given there. It is light yellow in color and the weight is behavior. Gives relief from the nasal flow, throat infection, headache, as well as the mild fever. See, this behavior as well as the characteristics are bundled in single unit as a tablet. We say that as the encapsulation. See, we are all objects. You have your own characteristics, your height, your weight, your complexion, and we have the behaviorals. See, when these all things are bundled together, then we will say that that particular item is an object. See, when we are considering about a famous cricketer Sachin Tendulkar, see, the moment we say about Sachin Tendulkar, his characteristics, his height will be coming into your mind. 5 foot 5 inches, and his behavior, we can say, the well appreciated one. He is a gentleman in the field, on the field as well as outside the field. So when it is bundled together, we say it is an object. And those objects are different. All the cricketers in the team may not be behaving in the same way. They all may not be having the same characteristics. That is what we say. They are uniquely identified. Okay. Next concept is polymorphism. See, 50 students are here, or 60 students are. Out of these 50 or 60 students, you may be behaving differently in the same situation, behaving differently. Suppose you are getting scolding by the teacher. So definitely, when we get the scolding by the teacher, few may feel very sad, maybe crying. Few may not be having any response, and few may be reacting. Why? So, the way of behaving, we can say objects are belonging to the same class, but they are behaving differently. One best example we can take from the nature. The owl as well as the crow. What happens? Both of them are belonging to the class birds. Both can fly. Characteristics are almost the same. Having 2 wings, 2 eyes, same thing. But they have a difference in their behavior. Crow, it can fly during the daytime, but the owl cannot. In the night time, the crow may not be able to see, but the owl is able to see. We say they are behaving in a different way. This is what is called as polymorphism. Definition says, polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways. Or we can say objects belonging to the same class behaving differently. Now, what is the need of this? We have one portion which is called the function overloading. In Java, the polymorphism is implemented through the function overloading. Okay, that we will see later on. Next concept is inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance is a mechanism that allows a class to derive the properties from another class. Oh, one class is deriving the properties from another class. A class from which another class is inherited is known as base class or the superclass. The class that inherits from one another class is known as subclass. You may be finding somewhat difficulty to understand. See, let us take the example of the parent and the child. Whatever qualities are there in the parent, the characteristics, may be visible in the child. The quality from father as well as the mother will be visible on the child, and somewhat behavior also. So we can say that we are the continuation of our parents. And who is the base class here? Our parent, he is the base class, from where we are derived. And we are the child class who has derived from the base class. Or we say we are the subclass. Okay, so the base class quality is coming to the derived class through inheritance. Okay, definitely we have to study about this in one of the sessions in the encapsulation chapter. Okay, now when we have this inheritance, we can see the advantages in short. First thing is extending the class. Extending the class. Take another one example. We have one building which was built by our grandfather. That time that building had only one floor, the ground floor, with the 2 rooms. Okay, now your father, he made it as 5 rooms on the ground floor and made a first floor also. So what happened? That particular house is extended. When we made a few rooms in the ground floor, as well as when we made one more floor there, the first is extended. Okay, now what we say about reusability. The rooms which are made by the grandfather is reused by your father. What is about transitive relationship? Okay, it is your turn now. You are making this house into 3 stories. Grandfather made one is existing. Your father's one is existing. Above that, you are making your floor. First point, extension is done. Reusability is done. What is made by grandfather, by your father, are reused by you. And third one, transitive relationship. What is this transitive relationship? It is not a direct one. It is an indirect one. If the ground floor is saying, we are fed up with your weight, so we are going to stop the support to you to the second floor. And if the second floor is reacting, Arey, don't bother, yeah, I am supported by the first floor, what will happen? You can imagine what will be the condition of the building. It will collapse definitely. That means the second floor is indirectly supported by the ground floor. Indirectly. How? Ground floor is supporting the first floor is supporting the second floor. Such kind of a relationship is the transitive relationship. Now the other example what I said, we can say once again, the grandfather, son and the grandson. You, your father and the grandfather, you are going for a trip. Your grandfather is meeting his old friend and he may say, look, my dear, these are my 2 children. These are my 2 children. Because the son as well as the grandchildren are the children of the grandfather. You are his son or daughter indirectly. That is what is called as transitive relationship. Let's proceed to modularity. What is modularity? See, when we write a program, not these small programs what we have written, we will have large programs in the later session. It may be difficult to handle a large program. So the program is divided into small units made as a lightweight module. Just imagine you want to shift the divan coat. You all may be having at home, divan coat, from one room to another room. What will you do? Will you all carry it? No, we will make it into pieces and then it will be assembled in the another room. That is what is called modularity. As a whole, the divan coat is so, what is that? Difficult to be shifted to the other one. We made it into small modules. That is what is called as modularity. This concept is like a divide and conquer. We divided the big divan coat into small pieces and then easily handled. Next portion is how do we implement this one in the software? The state of the object. They are represented through the variables. The state of the objects are represented through the variables or the data items. And the behavior is implemented through the methods. Okay, before we end with this first chapter, one more point I would like to remind you, that is messaging. Okay, we are about 50-60 students in the class during this lockdown season. You want to interact with each other, what will you do? We will send messages to our friends. Objects need to interact with each other, one another. They pass or request information through message passing or simply by using the messages. The objects in the class are interacting to each other using the messages. Okay. That's all for the day. Thank you.